Hi everyone. Um, so I'm live. Go ahead and like this video. I'm gonna get the deck all warmed up. I'm gonna be using the Song of the Grandmothers again, and this time I'm gonna pair it with the Meraki Tarot. So I'm excited to see how they pair together, and then maybe next week I will try out. Maybe I will try out Light Seers. Oops. There we go. Alrighty. But yeah, they can. I think they can see us chatting in Discord, but it should. Let me see if it announced it. Yeah, it announced that I was live, so yeah. Hopefully people come. Alrighty. Steph, I think the hype is that it's like a really easy deck to get into if you're trying to transition from like traditional rider weight, but you don't really exactly know where to go yet. So it's like it's like the house wine of rider weight based decks. All right, let's do our community read. Hey Ari, welcome. All right, let's get this all shuffled. This card is in backwards. Oh no, that's like, I'll just sit this over here so you guys can still see the box for a little bit. All right, let's see what energy we have with us as a community. All right, so this card says, this is the Grandmother Primrose. This is self-trust. Give yourself credit, one choice at a time. Repeat, learn to trust yourself. Ooh, so as a community, it seems like we need to learn how to trust our decisions that we make or trust in the actions that we take. Let's see what else we have. I feel like I totally relate to the self-trust thing because sometimes I like have analysis paralysis and I worry that I'm going to make the wrong decisions. Okay, so we have a Grandmother Turkey. This is hindsight. Okay, I like where this is going. Viewed in retrospect, situations change their charge. Try on future lenses. So if you are trying to trust in the actions you take, a lot of times, like when you focus on, like shoulda, coulda, wouldas, when you're looking at things in hindsight, my favorite phrase is hindsight is 2020. It's easy to say you should have made X, Y, or Z decisions based off of the information you have in what is now the future or the present, but you didn't have that information in the past, so it's not fair to your past self. So trust in the choices that you make in that past self and in your present. Don't let reflecting or dwelling on the past keep you from trusting your present and your future. Let's see, one more card. Let's take this one. Ooh, Grandmother Raven. So this is unknown. Mysterious void reveals its heart to seekers willing to enter. I love this. I love how this is like, this feels very much like the now, this is the past, and then this is the future. So, trust yourself in the present. Don't dwell on the past, so that way you can move confidently into the future. It can be very scary to move into the unknown or accept the unknown or just being a little unsure of of the actual things that are going to be happening. But at the same time, we have to accept that that's just how the future is. It's nebulous, it's always changing. And we just have to trust that we're on the right path for ourselves in this moment. Or we can trust that, like, if we discover halfway through that it's not the right path, we're able to adjust and reflect more positively on the past instead of dwelling on it. I love this. This is a really nice card. It's really pretty. Okay, so I forgot to mention these have colors, meanings. So pink is self-love, starting new cycles by stepping out of judgment and into compassion, which is very accurate for trusting oneself. This is service, recognizing your role, offering your gifts with authority, agency, and awareness. So in regards to hindsight, you were the authority of the decisions that you've made. Think of it that way. And then for purple, this is possibility, embracing portals of opportunity and expansion that open as you integrate lessons. So lessons from the past, but don't fall into the, well, I should have done this, the whataboutisms, the what ifisms, all of that. Hi, Creative Arts. You can use the exclamation point join code to enter the queue. Thank you for helping out, Sil, as always. All right, Steph, you were up first. And then after Steph, I have Ari. This might be a quiet night. Maybe everybody is out there struggling with the Microsoft shutdown. There you go. Welcome to the queue. I feel like I missed someone. Maybe I didn't. Okay, no, I didn't. I don't know enough about astrology, Ari, to have an opinion on that. I would say in general, just from my own like anecdotal experiences, Taurus men can be a little exhausting. I don't know what it is. Taurus women are fine, but Taurus men tend to be a little like, ugh. Sure. In fact, let me pull them back out so I can look at them. All right. Okay, so let's see what themes we can pull from the community read for stuff. And I'll move the cards up after I'm done. I'll get everything in frame for you guys. Oops, sorry, these stick together. The rose petal finish is beautiful, but very sticky. And last card. Okay. Let's keep these up because you've already seen these. Alrighty, here we have the Eight of Wands, we have the Magician, and then we have the Tower. I have to say I love this Tower card in this. It's like the lighthouse overseeing the seas kind of thing. So, excuse me, gotta stretch a little bit. So, just to recap with our community read, right? The themes were obviously, trusting oneself to move in the right path for the future. And I think that for you, Steph, in this case, this is all about how, like, with the Eight of Wands, it signifies that there's a lot of movement around you, whether you feel it yet or not. I feel like there's a lot of movement around you, and it's surrounding this magician here where it's all about manifesting the things that you are hoping to achieve or whatever your goals are, just or it could even just be manifesting change. So what I will say is trust that you have made the right decisions in regards to whatever those goals are, because it's going to feel like things might be falling apart, but they're not. um a lot of time, like in this case, I feel like this signifies more so that things are starting to break down in a good way, in the sense like you are getting to a point where you can get to a clean slate and build back up. So with this tower, I don't feel like it's the tower is like really chaotic energy to me, where it feels like things are changing really quickly. It feels like you don't necessarily have a handle on things, and you can very easily fall into the, well, what if I had done things a little differently? And it ends up throwing you into a cycle of the whatabouts, right? Like I was mentioning before. But the tower with the 8 of Wands, just kind of trust, go back to that self-trust, trust that things are working how they should work. Try not to like freak out, or try not to let that sway too many decisions, or too many changes in decisions rather, right? So it's kind of like you got to keep on the path that you're on. Just be confident in yourself. So with the theme of self-trust, we have with the magician is very skillful. They're very in charge of their own craft, their own skills, their own knowledge of things. So trust that you have everything you need to rebuild whatever it is that you are setting out to do. So a lot of times when I feel like when the tower comes up, people freak out, but a lot of times this could be the sign that whatever change you're hoping happens is actually probably really close to you right now. It's something that's probably right upon you, even though you may not feel it yet. You might feel like you're in a little bit of a stagnant phase, but this is saying like, that's probably about to change if you haven't already started to feel it already. Let me see what else. Oh, I just like the general themes of movement that are across all of these cards too. I think that if you think back, right? So if we go back to this hindsight card and you think back on how things have been over the last month, last 3 months, last 6 months, see how things have changed, you might start to notice some patterns that are happening. So what patterns are happening, and maybe it's not meant for you to know yet, but as we enter that future, this is our unknown card. As you start to enter the future, as you start to build or break down those walls and start to build back up, you'll start to see things form into more of a recognizable situation or clarity that happens. I think that what I'm looking to say is things will start to become clear as you get further along. So maybe right now they're not, but just trust you're stepping into the unknown with all of the skills you need to handle it. Yeah, I agree. This tower is really pretty, and I love the colors of it. Just really striking in a non-punny kind of way. Yeah. You'll have to let us know, like, if you start to see, like, little patterns of things that you might have missed out on. You're welcome, Steph. Alrighty, Ari, you are up next. Yeah, Ari, I'm not an astrology girly. Like, I've tried a few times, but it's just I don't find it interesting enough to learn in any real depth. So I tend to learn like things that are in proximity of things that are interesting to me. Like I know about Taurus, and I know I have a lot of Gemini friends, so I know about Geminis. But outside of that, I don't personally know too many Aries, at least not consciously, like in real life. Um, okay, let's see. What should you be looking forward to? Well, look at that. Let's see. Let's see what you should be looking forward to. One more card. Okay, we have the King of Swords. We have the Knight of, oh my God, why can't I read? Knight of Swords. And then we have the Nine of Wands. So I think that, Ari, for you, this feels like a little bit of a mental journey to getting to, trying to put this into the words that I think are right. So I feel like this is more of a like internal journey that you're going through, right? Of maturing what it is that you want out of life, being able to express that externally, and then having this Nine of Wands at the end is like saying, you know, at the end of this journey, this is where you can start to express those. At the end of this internal process here, this is where you can start to express that externally. This feels very much like, you know, different things have been on your mind. I like the Knight being in the middle here. I feel like this is like the sign that there are messages outside of what we're talking about. Like this is regardless of me right now, because obviously I'm giving you a message right now, but the Knight of Swords makes it feel like you have a message coming towards you in regards to your ambitions, your goals. The Knight of Swords, while a little bit impulsive, can be really thoughtful in how they want to proceed forward in life. And I think that you're going to start to see signs of that if you're receptive to that kind of thing. So on the other side, the King of Swords, this is where I feel like maybe you need to sit with yourself in terms of, you know, here we know there's a little bit of movement towards those goals. You might start to see messages, but what are you going to do with them when you get them? Like you might receive them, but the King of Swords is really confident in his domain. He's kings are leaders. They tend to have an idea of what their land, I'll say for lack of better words, looks like, and there's this confidence. But the King of Swords specifically is very cerebral and thoughtful in regards to how they maintain the world around them, and it comes from inside and it protrudes out. Swords are very much a more internal process. It's how you interact with yourself, and then as a byproduct, how you interact with the world. So having these two things here tells me that this is more time probably to sit with yourself in regard to what you think your next steps are going to be. So to just like in short, to specifically answer your question, what should you be looking for? I think you're looking for signs of your next steps in regards to your specific goals that you've been setting right now. In regards to what goals, I think it's probably more so on the side of things that you are currently passionate about. It could be your hobbies. It could even be a career change or a move, something that is really just interesting to you right now. And it could also be something that, considering it's the Nine of Wands, something that might be a little tiring. So it could be a move. It could be, if it is a career, it could be, or job, it could be something that's a complete pivot for you that might be a little wearisome because you're a little new to it. So there's a few things, and usually I mean, it's only 3 cards. This is something that I feel like is a little deeper, but when I'm talking about stuff, usually things are starting to fire in your brain. You kind of start to put the pieces together and it starts to make more sense. So hopefully that's what's happening. No. Oh, it's both. So yeah, that makes sense then. What I will say then as actionable advice based off of what I'm seeing in the cards is to sort of sit with yourself in the present. To go back to our community read, trust in the process. But in order to do that, you need to reflect on your specific goals. So that can, outside of the cards, that can be done in a few ways. Like you can do like a pros and cons list if you're deciding between something, or you could just like list down your specific goals as like affirmations or manifestations, however that feels right for you, right? I'm not trying to tell you how to do it, but just to give you some ideas. Ooh, new subscriber. Welcome, new subscriber. Literally the number 4. Alrighty, creative arts, you're up next. Okay, while we wait for that, what do you guys think of these pairings so far? Right, I'm gonna kind of, what do you think of the pairings? I'm kind of digging this deck together. It feels very like, it has like the same kind of soft energy. I was worried because these feel very like soft art. I don't know how to explain it. I went to art school, but for performing arts, not creative art. So but this feels very soft and like very like blurry, and then these feel like very defined and sharp, but I love them together. Actually, I'm really digging it. So let me know what you guys think. Welcome to the queue, Luke. Alrighty. I won't do how he feels about you, but I can see what the energy is between you guys. Oh no, did I put this together backwards? I did. Alrighty, so let's see what the energy is between you guys. Oh, we have our repeat of the night. The Magician. Okay, what else? Next card. Last card. Here we go. Okay, so we have the Magician, the Seven of Cups, and the Hermit. This feels very reversed. So I would say in general, like, I don't think the situation between you guys is very good. And considering this ends on the Hermit, I don't think that this ends in a way that you're probably looking forward to. So I'm assuming you're hoping you guys get back together. If I'm assuming wrong, please just like let me know. But I'll go in order. So the reason I reversed the Magician paired with the Seven of Cups, the Magician feels very reversed. The Magician upright, in our last reading, the Magician is very skillful, has a lot of creativity, has the energy to manifest the things that they desire. But in the negative, they can be very much like a snake oil salesman. They're very good at conning people or manipulating people into getting what they want. So while in the upright, it's more so like they're using their skills to bring good things in, but in the reverse, they're moving people around them almost like like it's a game. It's very much still skillful, but not in the positive. So paired with the Seven of Cups, I feel like this is saying like this person is very good at manipulating the people around them and juggling a bunch of different people. So sometimes in readings it'll feel like a third party, but instead it doesn't feel like a singular unit with someone kind of intervening. It feels like this was never a unit, and instead this one person just had a bunch of little units around them that they were messing around with and leading on. I'm gonna separate these. So with the Hermit, actually I won't separate them. This feels very reversed. The Hermit indicates that this is a period of introspection overall. But in reverse, it feels very isolating. So I feel like this person is very good at pulling you in, but making you feel lonely at the same time. And that's because they're never singularly committed to you. They have a bunch of other people that they're probably doing the exact same thing with. Now, I always caveat, girl slinging cards on the internet, please just communicate with people and see what works for you. But if this is validating a lot of your gut feeling of things or your intuition of things, then perhaps it's worth a deeper dive into, not divination wise, but like in person. So, what this boils down to me is that things don't necessarily need to be over. I think the real question is, are you going to allow it to be over? Because people like this tend to come and go in people's lives because they know that they can manipulate the situation, right? So they know that they can drag you along, that they'll lead you on, but never do anything of anything outside of just surface level interactions. So I would be worrisome about wanting this to go any further. I vaguely recall a reading from last week with something similar. Actually, I think last week I wasn't really gleaning like it being malicious, but I do think that this is, I don't want to say malicious. I just want to say like, I feel like there's a difference between someone who is a playboy and someone who is maliciously, intentionally, their goal is to take advantage in some way. So this person seems very much like they're good at leading people on, stringing them along, and then it never really goes anywhere. And then because of that, you're feeling continuously isolated and alone, even though you might have these moments of like a high where you feel like you're probably the focus of everything, and then eventually it just kind of dissolves, and again you're back into this cycle. So I would say that, and you mentioned that he's a crush, I would say that this probably there's nothing to be over. If he's a crush, it wasn't a relationship, I would say that it's probably for the best. And perhaps it's best if you set your sights on someone who reciprocates your feelings. Guess I'll put it that way. I'm gonna have to make a note. I feel like, hi Sherry, welcome. One of the things I want to do like similar to my live streams, right? You guys are watching my live streams, and not all of you do actual tarot or anything. You're more of the receiving end of it, but I want to do like an ongoing series where I kind of talk through how I do my readings. And I feel like one of the cool things to consider is how I decide when to read upright versus reversed. And not to say that I generally kind of always consider both upright and reversed, but when I feel like one is outweighing the other. So if you guys think that's interesting, let me know. Or maybe it's just the whiskey talking. You're welcome, creative. Good luck. I feel like you have your own worth. Don't let people drag you along. You deserve better. Let's see. Luke, you are up next. Thanks, Steph. I'm trying to figure out. I'm going through what I'm calling my midlife social media crisis. I don't know what I want to be. And it's not that I have to be anything. I don't have like a clear vision. I have like certain things, like touches, hints of things, but I don't have a full cohesive. This is the tourist and engineer in me where I want the full package before I can move on. It's hard. Ooh, what? Okay, now Luke got me thinking. What is the full moon? We're at 97%. What is it? Tomorrow or the day after? Let's see. Oh, on Sunday. Okay, full buck moon. This is the moon in, I guess, Capricorn going into Aquarius. Cool. Okay. Let's see, Luke, what you should focus on this coming full moon. Let's do a quick oracle from our grandmothers. All right. So this is a celebration. This is Grandmother Firefly. She says, "Summer dusk beckons. Reflect on life with soft eyes. Gifts that light the way." So blue is about harmony. And when I say blue, I mean like this color in the deck. Harmony is maintaining center. You get this a lot. This is about centering and grounding. You get that repeatedly. Maintaining center even when engaging with people, ideas outside of yourself. All right. Let's see, Luke. What should we focus on this coming full moon? I know. Thank you, Sil. Welcome, Four. All right. Oops. Pull one more. Cool. You got such bright cards. Okay. We have Temperance. You get that a lot too. King of Cups. And then this is Six of Pentacles. So you have really bright cards. I'm going to talk about the tones that I'm seeing here, and then we'll kind of talk about the cards. So overall, you have these like really lovely soft blues, and you have a lot of like sky elements, I feel like, in your card. So to me, that feels very much like this freedom, just like being able to take a nice breath, even though like sometimes things it's like feeling open and free instead of feeling stifled. So you have these nice, warm, cooling, calming colors that I really, really enjoy. So with Temperance, that kind of fits into everything that I was talking about. So your theme here is celebration, celebrating, just finding that balance. You don't have to do anything in particular for the full moon. It could just be about focusing on yourself, where you can find relaxation, zero burdens, just enjoying yourself in the moment. So Temperance does warn against trying to do too many things or going from one extreme to another. So this isn't about being 100% sedentary or being super, super active, right? So this is just something in the middle, maybe a little go with the flow, which with the King of Cups and like that water energy, just like see where I feel like I gave you this exact reading last week. This is starting to jog some brain cells from last week here. But with the King of Cups, this is where, like I mentioned before, the kings are in charge of their domain. So where can you take charge? And I don't mean necessarily actively, like you don't have to rule or boss or manage anything. This is just where can you take charge of how you're going to spend your time this weekend around the full moon. How are you going to spend that energy? I also like that I relate water to the moon a lot, because the moon affects the tides. So this is like saying, like, how are you going to let the moon how are you going to let the moon affect what you do? So we kind of have those two things going. And then the Six of Pentacles is interesting. So again, we have, I mentioned the centering, I already mentioned grounding. We have that earth energy from the Pentacles. And just being able to enjoy. So going back to the community read where we're talking about hindsight, right? What are some things in hindsight that you really, really enjoyed, where you feel like, what are the good things you can pull from hindsight, right? Oop, that scared the crap out of me. What are the good things you can pull from hindsight that you can adapt for this weekend or for around the full moon, whether you do it this weekend or whenever? So Six of Pentacles, this can also to be about reconnecting with your inner child, the things that you really truly found joy in. No, I'm sorry. That's more the Six of Cups, but Six of Pentacles is like giving back to yourself and where you're spending your time and your energy. So sometimes this can be about like, financially giving, but in this case, how are you giving back to yourself? How are you rejuvenating yourself, reconnecting with yourself? So I feel like this moon phase is really about celebrating you, Luke, and celebrating your joys, the things that you want. It's okay to be a little selfish, maybe around this time frame. Just whatever it is, your goal is balance. I would say your theme is probably balance, with the other themes of centering and grounding. Thank you so much for donating. that scared the crap out of me, the Cash App noise. Oh, there we go. More themes of celebration. Alrighty. No, I truly did. I was like, oh God, I didn't realize. Oh no. Sorry, Akiko. Let me see if I can remove you from timeout. I don't know how to do that. I don't even know why that's on. Silly. Okay. It's only 13 seconds, so you'll be fine. So I know Streamlabs can be a little bit of a butt. All right, so for donating, you can go ahead and post your question. I'm gonna take a quick nature break. I'm gonna turn the queue off, but everybody who is in it is in it. So after Akiko, I have Sherry and then 4, and then I'll be finishing up for the night. You're welcome. Okay, thank you guys so much for your patience. So, Akiko, I don't do like how someone feels about you, but I can look at the energy, like the energy between you guys. Hmm. 1 second, sorry. Okay. All right. So let's see what the energy is between you guys. Okay. So for question one, let's see. All right. We have release. This is bend, sway, swing, let loose. Anchored flexibility supports deliverance. So I feel like there's probably some sort of, you guys might not be on the same page yet, but needing to be a little flexible with how things move forward. So let's dive a little deeper. It's so funny because I mistook the Six of Pentacles in the last reading for Six of Cups, and here it is. All right. We have the, I'm going to, since you tipped, I'll do a little bit more, but we'll kind of go with this for the start. We have the Six of Cups, the Ten of Cups, and then the Empress. And I'll just kind of go in order. So just as a reminder, your card here is release. I feel like this is saying to release any like preconceived notions or expectations you have about how things are supposed to go between you guys, and just let all of that go and let things flow how they're going to flow. So you have two cups cards here, and then we have the Empress, which still remind me, is the Empress is she a water sign? So this feels very much like go with the flow, let things happen how they're going to happen, and just try not to force it. So with the Six of Cups, the Six of Cups is the nostalgic card where you kind of reflect back on how things in the past have made you feel. So I think this is saying, you know, like as you are going down this path, as you are building your bonds with Jordell, how have things in the past looked for you guys? You know, just, I guess, so you missed our community read, but one of the themes was hindsight. So, oh, Earth. Oh, interesting. Okay, that reflects this very much. So how can you reflect back on your time with them that you can use for the present that will make it more meaningful and continue to build upon that meaningfulness? And then here, the Ten of Cups. I like that the Ten of Cups here is in the center of your reading because tens represent the end of a cycle, good or bad, just in general, the end of a cycle, which is a level of accomplishment. In this regard, dealing with cups, this means emotionally, I think things are starting to come to completion. You're starting to see how things are starting to come together. And there's themes in the Ten of Cups of like family, fulfillment. And that could be a sign that you guys are starting to come together as a true unit. And then with the Empress, this is, I like that you have a major arcana in this, because this is saying like, oh, you're setting down something that is going to be long lasting. The majors tend to be more impactful overall. And the Emperor specifically is about nurturing and building and growing. And just as what I'm seeing here, as you're flowing along, being flexible, trying to go with the flow, you're building and nurturing things based off of maybe the things that you've truly enjoyed together in the past. Um, but so if you're not sure how to communicate how you feel, reflect back on those moments that you felt like were right. And um, a lot of times I tend to personally recommend people write things down because things start to become very clear and a lot easier. Um, and just the clarity of things starts to set in a little more. So I think if you reflect back on these moments together, and if you, I feel like there will be a moment that feels right with this 10 of cups where you're like, oh, this is the time where I should just let things out. Hmm. That is a great way to put it, where you like write out your thoughts and you start to see like recurring themes. And I mean, one of the things, of course, here that is lacking is that you don't have any swords. I mean, we have this earth energy from the Empress, so we have that foundational grounding stability, that opens up the room for growth and actual strengthening of bonds, in my opinion. And then we have a lot of the water energy here, but you lack the communication that tends to come with swords sometimes, even though I know some people tend to be a little scared of swords. um Let me see. I feel like, oh, here's your other question. I'm going to build upon what's already out here. um so your next question is what will become of, or what will the outcome of your bond. But I wonder if the real question is what will be the outcome if you tell him how you feel. And let me know if I'm misinterpreting. Um, I These are free readings, but this helps me as well to hone my craft for when I have clients. So I like to muse a little. Okay. Yay. um so let's see. Say you go through and you figure out your actual thoughts, like we were talking, you write things down, and you glean some clarity within yourself enough to talk to Jordell about. Let's see what the outcome of that could be. Okay. One more. Last card. Here we go. All right. Ooh, Queen of Swords makes a reappearance. So we have Strength, we have the Star, and then we have the Queen of Swords. So one of the things, I don't want you to think that this is a scary card, nor this one. They're a little dark. They're darker in this deck for some reason, but they're actually really positive. I'll start in the center and then work my way out here. So the Star is about, think of it as like wishing upon a star. It's hope, it's granting wishes. It's really just like it suggests the idea that a lot of what you were hoping for is coming to fruition. Now remember, This is coming off of the idea that you have gone through the steps to write down your thoughts, you've gained your clarity, and now you're talking to him. That's the gap that's in between here. This isn't going to just magically happen. You're taking actions as well. So the strength card indicates to me that there's this process overall is going to be a little scary. Hi, Robin. It's going to be a little scary, but the strength card, and I'll pull this up so you can see, like basking in the, it's not even the moonlight. I feel like this is the star that is in the center of your reading, and it's just shining the light on the situation between you guys, and you're basking in it. So just trust that you have the strength to do this. And in readings like this, when I get the Queen of Wands, a lot of times this is like the sign of being a boss bitch. You know, like getting into your boss bitch energy, pull up your big girl pants, and essentially push towards the things that you are really passionate about. So in this regard, it would be Jordell, right? So the Queen of Wands, similar to Kings, very much the leader of their domains, very confident, but the Queens also have that, where the King is very much more thoughtful and cerebral, the Queens are much more feeling. So go off of your feelings. This is why it's probably important to write them down so they're clear to you. And the Queen reflects a lot of the energy we saw in the Empress in terms of nurturing. So you are forming those nurturing things. It's where you're like planting the seeds on how things are going to grow in the future. And I think it's just up to you to allow yourself the confidence to do that. And so one of the things that I'll point out here, this is the only like fast moving energy you have. Cups are very slow. This is reminiscent of Earth. No, I lied. I think Strength is fire as well. So there are things that will probably happen a little more quickly after you take the actions that we talked about, like off to the side, you know, reflecting and then talking to Jordell. That will happen more quickly, but I think this stuff up here is a little bit of a slower process. So allow yourself time to sit with yourself, reflect on your thoughts, your emotions. This can even be like, what's the goal of all of this? Like, what's your goal with you guys? And thank you. I can remember Strength because the Lion, Leo, it's like easy. I don't remember Star though. So yeah, Akiko, I think you have a good setup here. You just have to be a little patient with the beginning stuff, because that's like the foundational things where you're really just like setting yourself straight on how you feel and how you want to express your feelings. And that's important in my opinion. And then down here, this is just where things maybe start to move a little bit more because you are moving things along. But at the end of the day, you still have to remember to just go with the flow a bit. Even if you're moving that flow along, moving it along is different than rushing it along, if that makes sense. Oh, you have a lot of Leo in your chart. Yes. I think once you find clarity in yourself, being able to find when that right time is probably become a lot easier too. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I forgot to say that part. But yeah, with the, especially, let me pull these out. Hold on. These two paired together really give me a lot of like positive vibes, right? I told you the Star is like the card of hope and like sort of manifested wishes. And then it almost looks like this card is basking in that. It feels very positive to me. What I would say is give yourself time, sit with it. usually what I recommend is give yourself the ability to sit, reflect, process the situation, see how things are going, and then check back in and see, like, as you start to feel like maybe the time is right, you can check back in and see, like, you know, just as a checkup, see how things are going. You do lack, like I said in the very beginning, you do lack swords. Communication's not the best. So that could also be, I mean, that might be something that you end up reflecting on with that Six of Cups that I mentioned. So, just be patient. Communication can be hard, especially if both parties are bad at communicating. But you're welcome. It is. It's just a fear, and like fear gets the best of all of us, right? But if you want to do a check-in later, you can find me on Kofi. You don't have to wait for one of my lives if you'd like me to do like a more in-depth reading on things. Sherry, you are up next. Go ahead, put your comment or your question in the comment section, and then I will be finishing up with 4. You're so welcome. Thanks for joining. Feel free to hang out and chit chat with us. And guys, if you're enjoying these readings, make sure you like the video. It helps with the algorithm. Okay, Sherry, let's see what's coming towards you that you're not expecting. I'm going to pull an extra card because this is like a specialty card in this deck. It's sort of meaningless on its own. Oops. It's definitely that time of night where I'm getting butterfingers. All right, last card. Oh, we have some repeats here. Okay, so this card is literally just no. It's a specialty card in this deck, the Meraki Tarot. Overall, you have the Six of Swords, the Temperance card, and the Six of Pentacles. Both are back. I know, sometimes, Luke, it does feel like that. All right. I had to kind of sit with this a little bit. So these Temperance and Six of Pentacles felt more reversed, and I'll talk through it as I get to it. The Six of Swords. This is really a sign that you are probably about to realize that you need to walk away from something. So actually, I'll start. I'll continue how I'm going. I'm waffling. So with the Temperance card here in the middle, this is really indicating that you might have been trying to avoid rocking the boat, which is a pun on the Six of Swords. But, trying to just walk the middle path, trying not to rock the boat one way or another, letting things happen how they happen. But the Six of Swords and the Six of Pentacles in reverse indicate to me that perhaps that's not the right thing, and you're going to start to realize that very soon. Most likely in the form of someone like usurping your energy in a kind of way. I don't mean necessarily like an energy vampire. I just mean like you realize that you are giving up probably willingly too much of your own energy to something that just is not right for you, someone who's not right for you, just the situation overall just isn't right, and you've been allowing yourself to continue along it even though it's not right for you. So the Six of Swords indicates like you're going to come to that realization that this is happening. I don't know necessarily what triggers it, but something must trigger it. Where you, it could be this reading, who knows? Where you're just like, you know what? I'm walking away from this. And this is saying like you are walking away from just the no longer rocking the boat and giving up your energy to things that don't serve you. So this indicates that maybe, and for whatever reason, maybe you have been in this cycle for so long you don't even recognize you're in it, which is why it's something that's coming towards you unexpectedly. And I wonder if the trigger is you saying no to something. Actually, now that I'm looking at this no card, I wonder if it's like, where you have always been more of a yes girl, just in, just to avoid conflict, to avoid ruffling any feathers. You just sort of say yeah or okay to things that you know deep down that you probably shouldn't. And finally, something in you says, and maybe it's this reading that triggers that, you say no to something. That ends up rocking the boat. You walk away from this yes man or not complacency, people-pleasing tendency, and regain your energy your energy that you've been giving away to people. So I think that's something that's going to trigger very soon. You'll have to let me know. Hopefully, I mean, honestly, that's a good thing. It'll feel a little chaotic in my opinion, just my personal, not necessarily what I'm seeing in the cards, but like just from my personal experience. I think that might come off as a little chaotic to you, but it's probably for the best. Luke, I love Kevin Hart. He's one of my Philly brethren. Alrighty, 4, you are up next. Last but certainly not least, thank you again for subscribing. You're welcome. Thanks for joining, Sherry. Ooh, let's see what the spirit wants you to know for. Your name reminds me of number 4 from Divergent. All right, come on. Let's see. Here we go. First card here. All right. Okay. We're getting a lot of 6s and like a lot of similar energy amongst us as a community. You have the 8 of Cups, the Devil, and the 6 of Cups. So, I'll go in order. I feel like something is telling you to, this feels sort of similar to the last reading, but I feel like with minute differences. So in the last reading, this is like a thoughtful act to move away from something that wasn't serving them, and because there was sort of a complacency of things, whereas this one, feels very much more like emotionally you need to walk away from a toxic situation. So the devil card can be really fun, like really cool, sex, drugs, rock and roll kind of vibes. But then on the flip side, there is like this codependency on things. Mm, addiction level things. I try to be worrisome about using that term just in mixed company when when it's not private reading, but just so you understand the energy of this card. Um, there's like an obsession with the devil card that I feel like emotionally you have to decide to walk away from it. And so in doing so, the other end of the devil card is very much finding your freedom, like breaking loose of those chains and allowing yourself to step into this Six of Cups, um, the Six of Cups energy. I mentioned in a previous reading, Six of Cups is the card of nostalgia. So in this aspect, it feels very much more so like emotionally. You really have to remove yourself from whatever this toxic situation that is really locking you down. Step away from it so you can go back to your feeling like your old self. So how can you emotionally find yourself again? Um, reconnecting with oneself in a way. So I feel like spirit is just really saying this feels very short and sweet, which I know you waited for this, but it feels very clear. So I try not to like add too much filler in when that happens, but it's literally saying emotionally it's time to step away, to walk away from things that are really just sucking the life out of you, sucking all of your time, your energy, your focus, um, and find yourself again. So, what does that mean? I guess is really the next steps outside of this, and this is one of those like heavy hitter topics that pop up in live every once in a while, where it feels very much more like it requires some more cards. I just don't have the time nor energy to do that, but this is where like I think spirit is saying like, hey, how can you find yourself again? So you have to step away from this situation, but how do you do that? What are the actionable things that you do? I don't know if you do your own readings or something, but that's something that you can reflect on. It's also something you can journal on. You don't need to use divination to do that. Um, and I'm sure you've heard that in my previous readings. I like to advocate people write stuff down. It makes sense to them, right? So, how can you find yourself again? When's the last time you ever felt like yourself? And what was going on during that time that made you feel more like yourself? So, while this was very short, I do appreciate you waiting for this. I think it's very clear that spirit just wants you to feel like you again and find a path to get there. I will say I'll be back next week. So if you want to pay for a reading, you can dive a little deeper on the path to get there. But if you would like to get more of a private thing so you can dig in a little deeper, I'm happy to do that. Or toxic work environment. So I don't think it's necessarily the cancer diagnosis itself. I think it's the emotional impact of that on top of your emotional energy that you give to a toxic work environment. So, but what I was saying was that you can come back next week. You can do some journaling in between there. Whatever works for you. While of course I'm always trying to build up my clientele, I'm also here to practice and evolve as a reader as well. So, half in one hand, six in one hand, half a dozen in another. But I hope, though, with that being said, that the cancer diagnosis is optimistic, and definitely rooting for you. You're a new subscriber, but you're already part of the Lunar family, so I'm hoping things are going to eventually start looking up. Just personal advice outside of the cards. Stress, especially from a toxic work environment, can really negatively affect our health, even when we're healthy. So please take care of yourself. Find times to just focus on you and release that stress when you can. I feel like I missed some conversation about a show on Netflix. Oh, you just watched Divergent. So Divergent did have an ending. It was a trilogy, right? So I'm not gonna lie, reading that, Robin, when I read this, I was like, he has an accent like me. It's so funny. You're so welcome. For and yes, as Luke said, healing vibes. So if you guys would like to hang out outside of YouTube, I spend a lot of my time on Discord. You'll have to let me know. Join me on Discord after this. Let me know what you thought of this pairing. I actually really liked it. Yeah. And next week I'll try light tears. Despite Steph not liking light tears, so. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here. I'm shocked Luna did not come and let me know that it's like 20 minutes past the time I should have gotten off. Agreed, Sil. So far, favorite pairing, for sure. I don't know why I waited so long to do so. Alrighty, guys, I will catch you in the next one. I will be here next week, next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you next time. Bye.